And greetings, everyone. How are you doing? Welcome to the Apptrepreneur Show today. I am Kevin, your Apptrepreneur, and we've got quite a show. We have got, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got about 5 main topics to discuss today. 5 main topics. And hey, you know what? And of course, some of them are about rideshare, some of them are not about rideshare. We actually did a poll. And what's funny is I had prepared the show when the poll was at a certain point, and let's see here. The audio stream's current bitrate is lower than the record. Okay, so anyway, folks, let me know if you're having issues with the audio. I just got a notification that the audio might not be as good as it could be. So if there's an issue with the audio, and you just not liking my voice doesn't count, obviously. Let me know in the chat. I'll see if we can't fix it. But, we've got some rideshare stories. We've got some non-rideshare stories. We've got some streaming wars story. And, of course, as always, we have you. Now, because this is still a new thing, here's how it works. If you are watching this particular video, either now or in the future, this is a live stream and we have multiple stories. However, at the end of the show, I will do a little chat. Oh, good. It is fine. Thank you, Dougie. We will answer questions, we will chat, we will do all that jazz. So if you have questions, comments, please leave them. Even if we are not addressing them right away, we will need those comments to, continue the show after the main topics are over. However, the first thing I want to talk about, I actually do want to address at least one comment that was left for yesterday's video. Well, actually, it was today's video from yesterday's video. It was one of the broken off segments where someone was talking about, we've been talking about Robinhood, and he wanted to bring up that Robinhood has made the stock market a lot more volatile than it normally is. Because back when you had like $7 fees to buy stocks, a couple things happened. First of all, you tended to buy a lot more stock at once because it was $7 for 1 share or $7 for 100 shares. You'd probably rather get 100 shares for the $7 fee. And then you were much more likely to hold the stock and only sell it if you felt that truly the stock was worth selling at that point, whether to protect your investment or because you really wanted to cash out. And that he was frustrated by how people seem to be absolutely happy with lunch money, this day trading thing that we're doing. And he said, yeah, because everything is great when the stock market's going up, but then it goes down and you don't hear people crowing about it. Well, you know what? Here's the thing. I believe in transparency, and we are doing a Robinhood experiment. So let us look at my portfolio today to look and go over the ugliness of stock trading. The last couple of days, we were singing about how great it was because the stock markets were up. These are the days it hurts. Look at that. Down almost $500 today. Almost $500 today. My portfolio is down. And granted, the markets haven't closed, but when you look over here at all my investments, there's not a single one in the green. Even Bitcoin is down. Now, I suspect I know why this is the case. The reason everything is down today seems pretty self-apparent to me. It's because confirmed C virus cases are up. They're up. They're going up. And, we have to acknowledge that. Like, whether it's because of reopening the states or the protests, whatever, the C virus cases are up. It's the end of the week. There's a lot of uncertainty. So a lot of big investors are pulling their money out. Now, it's easy to blame my Nikola stock because that did take a dive. It got up as high as like $103. It's almost at $60 right now. Clearly, I had some losses there. Although, funny enough, I bought it at $54, so I still technically haven't lost money on this stock, but it is down today. I should also note that this thing opened at $52, got as high as $67, and is now down to around $60, which is probably where it's going to end. So this is one of the few stocks that people were buying, but look at everything else. Coca-Cola, down. AMC, down. Virgin Galactic Space, down. Microsoft, down. IMAX, down. GE, down. Nokia down, JetBlue down, Barnes & Noble Education down. Everything is down. And of course, Hertz is down. Like Hertz, that's by far like the one stock I'm expecting to lose all the money on. So look, these are the days that you want to get out of it. Here's my, here's what I do. I actually spent the day buying more shares of some of these stocks. Like I bought more Plug. I bought more. I bought a few more Hertz. I bought more American Airlines. I didn't invest a lot. Again, we're trying to keep it to around $100 every couple weeks. But I did buy a little bit more because this is when you do want to buy more. Because let's look at the week. Look, the week did pretty good. Let's look at the month. Look, there's ups and there's downs. This is a pretty extreme down, but there are ups and downs. And again, the reason it's more extreme than usual is because this one went so haywire. But and I really wish that the stop loss had not failed. But here's what can be a little crushing. I was up about 1,300 a few days ago, and now I'm up by only about $146. It's not a great feeling, to be honest. However, I'm not concerned. Because this will turn around. Like, one of the things, my strategies is, I do also like to buy enough stocks of these stable companies like Coca-Cola and Microsoft. They will never go out of business. Papa John's is even pretty stable, but even that's down today. So it's just a down kind of day. There will be another day in the future where a lot of it is up, and we will cover that. Again, this is an experiment of some sort. This is me going through, just kind of seeing if I can come out ahead, if it's possible. It is a volatile stock market. You can't predict everything. That's just the reality. And so, I want to show the warts as well as the victories. I don't believe we do anyone favors when we try to pretend like we only, well, not pretend, but like we only show the gains. Like, when it's like a great day, a great week, we show the gains and we brag about it, and then maybe the next week it's not so great, or the next day, and so then we don't say anything until there's more gains to share. I don't believe in doing that. So I just wanted to acknowledge that up front. However, with that said, let's start with our first main topic. And our first main topic deals with, GrubHub and Uber. And hey, you know what? You saw the thumbnail. There's no hiding behind it. But Uber lost. Uber is no longer in the talks to buy GrubHub. Instead, Just Eat Takeaway will acquire GrubHub for, I believe, $7.3 billion. They will acquire GrubHub. Now, we talked about some of the issues with the acquisition. The first main issue seemed to be that GrubHub felt that Uber should be given more stock to them for the acquisition. But then the other problem with that, there were antitrust concerns. If Uber bought GrubHub, or they merged, or something like that, in several key markets, Uber would have been the dominant food delivery platform. And not just dominant, monopolistic. Keep in mind, the U.S. government officially considers businesses with 35% or more of the market to typically be monopolies. In Uber's case, in several cities and several states, they would have had up to a 90% hold on the market. And, senators, antitrust probes, the DOJ, I believe, all these companies were basically like, no, that is not correct. Now, GrubHub, I think, from what I understand, tried to steer Uber in the right direction. Like, hey, let's do this so that we don't come into the crossfires of antitrust law, which Uber apparently did not want to do. Because again, Uber's about clout, they're about control, they're about growing as big as possible. Dara Khosrowshahi has not changed that about the culture. Uber still wants to grow. And apparently, yesterday, in fact, it was yesterday, I was actually doing one story and saw an update about this so since it changed, I didn't even give it its own video anymore. But it's official now. Just Eat Takeaway will be acquiring GrubHub. Now, here's what it says. Let's see here. European company Just Eat Takeaway said the combined operation processed 593 million orders in 2019 and will have over 70 million combined active. I don't know what that's all about. So they're giving a little. Jeez. Okay, this is the real article. Oh, okay. Consolidation in the world of on-demand food ordering and delivery continues apace. Today, Just Eat Takeaway, the European company that only just got its own $7.8 billion merger approved by regulators in April this year. And by the way, that's one of the reasons they're combining, because Just Eat Takeaway isn't really big in the U.S. GrubHub's not really big in Europe. And as a result, they can combine, they can grow, while antitrust regulators, they don't care that much, because it's like, it's a way to expand globally, not locally. It's kind of weird how that works. Officially announced at his reach an agreement to acquire GrubHub in the U.S. in an all-share deal for an enterprise value of $7.3 billion. The acquisition is not just a piece of M&A in the food delivery space. It also represents a major competitive swipe, as Uber Eats had also been trying to acquire the U.S. company. Okay, so that's where this is an all-share deal where GrubHub shareholders will get 0.6710 JustEatTakeaway.com ordinary shares in exchange for each GrubHub share, representing an implied value of $75.15 for each GrubHub share. So, let's look at GrubHub right now. If you have GrubHub stock, now this is important if you have GrubHub stock. If you have GrubHub stock and the stock is lower than that $75, keep the stock. You're going to get bought out. It's going to be really nice. You're going to get at the moment anyway, a $13 raise. Now, if this stock ever goes above $75, which seems very unlikely because we already know what the asking price is going to be, sell the stock. You will get more that way. That is important if you own GrubHub stock. Just a side note. So anyway, Matt Maloney, CEO and founder of GrubHub, will join the JustEatTakeaway.com management board and will lead the combined group's business across North America. Jitse Groen, CEO and founder of JustEatTakeaway.com, will lead the combined business globally. Excuse me. Matt and I are the two remaining food delivery veterans in the sector, having started our respective businesses at the turn of the century, albeit on two different continents. Both of us have a firm belief that only businesses with high quality and profitable growth will sustain in our sector. I'm excited that we can create the world's largest food delivery business outside of China. Interesting swipe there. We look forward to welcoming Matt and his team to our company and working with them in the future. So, anyway, not everyone was happy about this. In fact, let's see here. Can I find that article? Do I even have it up? Well, okay, no, I didn't have it pulled up. But anyway, I do know that Jim Cramer, stock guy, he was disappointed that Just Eat Takeaway is acquiring GrubHub. He wanted Uber to get it because, it would have meant Uber's stock would be more valuable and all that jazz. Now, we could take a look at Uber stock real quick. It's probably down, but let's face it, it's probably down because it didn't drop significantly because of this news. It's just going down in general because that's what's going on today. Oh, look, a little uptick. I like that, and it's going down again. Fun. Anyway, so Jim Cramer wanted Uber to get it, but he does acknowledge at the end of the day that, GrubHub selling to Just Eat Takeaway does allow for more competition, which is good for everyone that there's competition. So, either way, the big loser in this one is Uber. Uber, was really banking on this to make them look more valuable. It didn't work out. And while I don't think their stock will be harmed too much at the end of the day, it will put pressure on them to either grow Uber Eats or to bring their rideshare business back. And maybe even a third option to, get those self-driving cars out there. The pressure's on. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, I would like to know what you think about all of this. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think it was bad that Uber lost this deal? Are you happy Uber didn't get the deal? If you're a GrubHub driver, do you feel a little bit more at peace knowing that Uber will not buy GrubHub? I would love to know. So comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one. Now, with that said, hold on, let me take one more sip. I know, it's annoying, folks, but all this talking. With that out of the way, let's talk about our second topic. And our second topic is actually one that you folks picked at home. I picked a little poll. In fact, let me pull up that poll so that we can kind of so we can see what was going on here. But I put this poll on my channel. What random topic would you like to hear discussed in the middle of tomorrow's podcast? Now, I am going to be putting this poll up pretty much every day. 21 people voted. Now, a few of those votes came late because the first thing you wanted me to talk about ended up being YouTube killing commentary channels. Apparently, no one was interested in Ted Cruz's Quentin Tarantino tweet, which I'm actually kind of relieved on. Some want to hear about Game Gear Minis, but at the time it took to plan the show, cops getting canceled, that was the number one topic. Now, because of the skewed results, we will do the other topic in tomorrow's episode. But, and I'm seeing right here, the article just went blank. It just went blank, so that is, so just to let you know, this is what's going on. It says no internet connection, but clearly there's an internet connection. There we go. So, Cops has been canceled. There will be Bad Boys no more. You know that song, bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? I love that song. It's kind of funny that Cops has been on so long, that song is kind of like permanently ingrained in my mind. Now, this is probably going to be a sensitive topic. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be a sensitive topic. But just let you know where I stand. I'll get to that in a minute. So anyway, let's look at this real quick. Paramount Network has permanently pulled the plug on the long-running true crime reality show Cops amid protests worldwide following the death of George Floyd in police custody. The Viacom CBS-owned network initially pulled episodes of Cops from its schedule on Friday. Cops is not on the Paramount Network, and we don't have any current or future plans for it to return, a network spokesperson confirmed to ET, which is Entertainment Tonight, on Tuesday. Cops launched in 1989 on Fox, where it ran for 25 seasons and was often paired with another real-life crime show, America's Most Wanted. I remember that show too. In 2013, Spike TV, which would later be rebranded as Paramount Network, picked up the series after Fox canceled it. The series was set to premiere its 33rd season on Monday, but has been off the air since the beginning of the month due to protests against police brutality and systematic racism, which have continued in cities across the U.S. Cops has aired 1,100 episodes during its 31-year run. So here's the thing. Whenever Cops does come to a streaming service, and I can guarantee you it will, at some point, there will be a wealth of episodes to watch. But here's the thing. Why did this happen? Well, we're a little murky on that one, to be perfectly honest, because the last week has just been absolutely crazy. And again, I totally support police reform. I hope the people who killed George Floyd get what they deserve. I'm in favor of all of that. I don't necessarily think I am in the corner of we should start canceling everything because it's a sensitive time. And when it comes to cops, the reasons for the cancellation are even more bizarre. Now, you do have some people making the case that Hollywood should not be making shows or movies about cops at all. Like, hey, you know what? That's just, we don't want it for one reason or another. You shouldn't be glorifying them. Well, you either shouldn't be glorifying the cops or you shouldn't be glorifying the fact that they use brute force to catch the criminals, because is any criminal in a cop show going to just say, you got me, put them on? No, they're going to run, and there's going to be a struggle, and there's going to be a tackle, and they don't want that on the air. So, they don't think Hollywood should be doing that. You can feel whatever you want. I personally live by the belief that, hey, if you don't like something personally, don't watch it. In fact, in the age of streaming, if you don't want to watch Gone with the Wind or Die Hard or Lethal Weapon or anything, or Cops, it's easier than ever to just not watch Cops. And the reason I wanted to also talk about this is because it definitely seems like we might be overreaching, so to speak, I should say. For example, Live PD has been canceled by A&E. However, this was for a very, very different reason. And I'm not sure how I feel about this one either. This one I'm much more on the fence about. I don't think Cops should have been canceled. I think, wait a few months, see what the room temperature is, and if there's a lot of evidence that people will not watch the show, then okay, it's had a good run, let it go. Live PD was actually canceled for a very specific reason. I'm not sure I agree with this one either. A&E has canceled one of the highest rated shows on basic cable in the wake of protests over the police-related death of George Floyd. The network pulled Live PD, a reality TV show that follows cops on patrols, earlier this week, but revealed late Wednesday that the hiatus is now permanent. News of the cancellation follows reports from Monday that Live PD had filmed an incident between police and a 40-year-old black man that ultimately resulted in that man's death. Javier Ambler was stopped by police in Texas for failing to dim his headlights in March 2019 and was laser held down and tasered 4 times while a crew from Live PD filmed. Ambler died in custody. Now, this, there's one more line I want to get to, but let's talk about this for a second. So here's one of the funny things about Cops and Live PD and all these shows. This is like one of the reasons people actually find these shows absolutely hilarious. It's usually because the conflicts on screen that result in violence and a chase and a shakedown and a beat 'em up, whatever you want to call it, usually are the result of someone being pulled over for a minor thing. Like, the police see that a tail headlight is off. They turn on the lights like they're going to pull them over and they're going to give them a fix-it ticket. That's all they're going to do. And then before you know it, that car speeds away. And then the cops have to drive forward, and they chase him down. Then the guy ends up jumping out of the car. He's running. The cops get out. They tackle him to the ground. He's fighting them, and they cuff him. And it's like, what? Why are you running away? And he's like, what do you want me for? It's like, your tail light is out. And the guy's like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought I had done something wrong. It's like, well, now we're going to look up, and they find out the person has, like, broken parole or something like that. That's one of the humorous things about these shows. Is like, it's usually a minor thing that escalates. Now, the way this is worded, they're kind of wording it, and maybe this is the case. I don't know for sure. But they're kind of wording it that basically they pulled this guy over and they basically roughed the guy up because he had failed to dim his headlights. That probably didn't happen. I've seen enough of these shows to know that the guy probably ran, and because he ran, it escalated. That's usually what happens in this. But here's the thing. the guy did die in custody. Now, this was where I was a little conflicted, because, all right, so you filmed this guy's death, and I don't know if that's worth canceling, because if anything, this might have been a good thing. Like, okay, this guy died at the hands of police brutality, and you have it on film. So there is actual evidence that you can lock these police officers away because they went above and beyond the call of duty and used brute force to kill this guy over failing to dim his headlights, although, again, I think there was probably an element of the guy trying to escape. That's usually how it works. But then this next sentence hit, and this was where I believe the decision really came to cancel the show. Footage of the encounter never aired and was destroyed. That, I believe, is why A&E decided to cancel Live PD, because it's a liability now. A crime was witnessed, it's on film. If anything, it is the show's producers at this point to provide that footage to other law enforcement so that disciplinary action can be taken, and they destroyed the footage. And that's bad. So the network said in a statement, "This is a critical time in our nation's history, and we have made the decision to cease production on Live PD. Going forward, we will determine if there is a clear pathway to tell the stories of both the community and the police officers whose role it is to serve them. And with that, we will be meeting with community and civil rights leaders as well as police departments." So what this statement says, just to let you know, they want to continue making cop shows. They absolutely do. And why wouldn't they? They're cheap to make, and people watch them. It's like a license to print money. But right now, it's a tense time, and they got caught in a particularly bad situation where one of the arrests they filmed resulted in a death, and it does not appear that they took that footage to, officers or law enforcement to, try to have due process and justice, and they just destroyed the footage, and that is not a situation that A&E could get behind. Now, on a final note, where we probably are overreaching is, I don't think we need to go after Paw Patrol. We don't need to go after Paw Patrol. Do you know what Paw Patrol is? Let me look up Paw Patrol real quick. I thought they had a screenshot in there, but apparently they don't. So let's just open this and look right here. This is Paw Patrol. It's on Nickelodeon. Not even Nickelodeon, on Nick Jr., for God's sakes. And people are... Oh, see, there's the picture. Because the backlash is mounting against depictions of good cops on television and in the street. So, this article says, it was only a matter of time before the protest came for Paw Patrol. Paw Patrol is a children's cartoon about a squad of canine helpers. It is basically a pretense for placing household pets in a variety of cool trucks. The team includes Marshall, a firefighting Dalmatian, Rubble, a bulldog construction worker. Why is the Dalmatian always the firefighter? That is stereotyping. I kid, of course. Anyway, and Chase, a German shepherd who is also a cop. Oh, more stereotyping. Lovely. In the world of Paw Patrol, Chase is drawn to be a very good boy who barks stuff like, "Chase is on the case," and "all in a police pup's day," as he rescues kittens in his tricked-out SUV. Now, this is a long article, but here's what I thought was kind of interesting. Because on Twitter, it was pointed out that Paw Patrol getting canceled was supposed to be a joke. But the longer you read the tweets, the more you realize it kind of didn't become a joke. And as they write here, it's a joke, but it's also not. As the protests against racist police violence enter their third week, the charges are mounting against fictional cops too. Even big-hearted police dogs, or maybe especially big-hearted cartoon police dogs, are on notice. So, here's the thing. My opinion on all of this is, this potentially being canceled, it's not canceled yet, is totally stupid. Don't need to do it. This was jumping the gun. I understand it. I can understand why they're feeling like, maybe no one's in the mood for a cops show right now. But I think they might have wanted to wait like at least a few more weeks to see what the room temperature was. Also, I do believe Cops will be back. It's too iconic for no one to want it. That's the kind of show that can help a struggling network. And for this one, this live PD canceled, that was way, way more justified because it involved a situation where I do not believe proper protocol was followed. Now, does this mean we are never going to have a cop show again? No, I don't think you're going to be canceling Law and Order. You're not going to stop the Die Hard movies. I think people are just sensitive and we all need to take a deep breath and calm down. When some of these shows start coming back, people will be upset. And from my perspective, you are allowed to be upset that these shows are coming back. You don't have to like the fact that they're coming back. However, when they come back, it's pretty easy to avoid them. That's my thoughts anyway. But anyway, I would like to know what your thoughts are. And boy, almost no one's commenting on this one. Interesting. So anyway, I'd like to know. Comment below. Like, favorite, share, subscribe. And as always, flame responsibly. And with that out of the way, let's talk about this third topic. And this third topic is both hilarious and yet absolutely true. But Apple is being sued for $1 trillion after iPhone repair. Holy. This one deserves a drink. So, the first thing that needs to be stated, of course, Apple's worth about $1 trillion. So, they are being sued for the entire worth of their company. That is a payout that is clearly not going to be paid. This person will not get $1 trillion. But let's look honestly at this article. Is this lawsuit justified? Because who knows? Maybe this isn't just an elaborate troll. Maybe this isn't just someone looking for easy money. Maybe there's a legitimate reason for suing them for this. And it says this lawsuit probably hasn't shaken Apple to its core. A little more than a year after Raven Parker sued the tech behemoth for $2 trillion plus $900 after Apple staffers allegedly kept his iPhone after repairs and used its special features. Hey Perry, what's up? It's my chinchilla if you heard him. To rework its mobile operating system, he's now suing again for a mere $1 trillion, reported Apple Insider. The Missouri man previously also demanded a priceless amount for his mentality, apparently for the anguish suffered during the ordeal. I know, it makes you want to cry, doesn't it? In his lawsuit, Parker claims that he visited the St. Louis Galleria Apple Store to fix his smartphone in October 2018, but after the repair, staffers kept it by deceiving the plaintiff, knowing that it was the first phone to have new features, and gave him a new one instead. What's that mean? Previous maybe he misses his headphone jack? Is that what's going on? Okay. The supposed new features include a new setup to bypass certain startup load screen options, which enables iPhones to communicate with other devices faster and more accurately. Parker also previously asked for restoration after discovery of the group FaceTime feature. His prior filing on March 28, 2019 included an iPhone valuation at a cool $1 trillion, iOS another $1 trillion, and $900 for phone rental. But after a judge tossed that complaint, Parker's now suing for $1 trillion for hospitalizations, travel, distress, humiliation, embarrassment, and defamation of character, according to the suit. Parker even suggested a new lawsuit. I don't think that the plaintiff can be compensated for being labeled crazy. Yeah, okay. To be honest, we're just discussing this one so you can have a laugh. Just so you can have a laugh at that one. This is this is clearly not a real thing. but, you know. So, anyway, I thought I would have a lot more to say about that one than I ultimately did, but I don't have that much to say about it. So, I'm not even going to make that into its own separate video. We're just going to move on to the next topic. And our next topic is actually involves Netflix. And I'm not going to lie, this story definitely, I looked at it and I raised an eyebrow. I honestly thought it wasn't real. Now let's do a little bit of history. Because I have to admit, this actually challenges a belief of mine. I like the director Spike Lee. I almost said Stan Lee. It's Spike Lee. I love Spike Lee movies. I don't like all of them, though. And one of the movies that I do not like is Bamboozled. And I don't like Bamboozled because I felt it was, frankly, a disingenuous movie. The whole concept of Bamboozled is that creators make a show with blackface. That becomes a huge hit. And they, as they say, they put on blackface, even the white actors, even the black actors, and it becomes a huge hit, and how everyone's just willing to accept it. And I remember not liking that movie because I felt this is wrong, because blackface is in the past. No one genuinely finds it funny anymore. You know, I still remember when Ted Cruz went to the Emmys or the Golden Globes or something like that, and he was wearing blackface, and he was dating Whoopi Goldberg at the time, and the audience was like, and they reacted the way you were supposed to act when you see blackface. Like, basically, nobody tolerates it anymore. And that's the opinion I had for a long time. I also, was looking at interviews and stuff with Spike Lee, and he was talking about how he didn't like how MTV made black people look like thugs and pimps and everything like that. And I felt he should have made a movie that on what he was really upset about. But then I read this article. Netflix removes 4 British comedies over blackface. And it says Netflix has gone on a spree of removing British comedies that feature white actors in blackface from its service. On Wednesday, The Mighty Boosh, the eccentric mid-aughts comedy created by Julian Barrett and Noel Finding, currently a host of A Great British Shake Off, was the latest series to be taken off the streamer in its entirety, according to The Guardian. The removal arrived the same day Netflix took down the comedy The League of Gentlemen, and one day after took down Little Britain and Come Fly With Me. Now then, the article goes on to explain, the offensive scenes. We don't need to do that. But I read this article and I kind of said to myself, these have to be old shows or old movies. Clearly, there's not a modern day audience that's putting blackface out there. Is there? That'd be stupid. Well, let's look at The League of Gentlemen. Okay, this movie is 1960. I think blackface was mildly tolerated at that point, so okay, that's old. That's history. I don't know, it's not okay, but it's old at the very least. What about the other shows? The Mighty Boosh. This show, what year did this show come out? 2004. This was a 2004 to 2007 show. Apparently, there's blackface in this show. And that's not too long ago. Interestingly, this show is ranked 98th on The Guardian's list of 100 best television shows of the 21st century. Okay, so that's fairly modern. What about Little Britain? Little Britain is 2003 to 2007. Apparently there's blackface in it. And what about this one, Come Fly With Me? This is 2010. This is just a decade ago. This is 10 years ago. So that's what got me really confused about this. Now, granted, I have not seen any of these shows. I don't know what the context of the blackface even is. But it does seem pretty crazy to me that in this day and age, where it's pretty well established that blackface is not okay. And it's hateful and it's insensitive. Insensitive is a very mild word, I should say. It's abhorrent. It's all these things, and we were still making shows with it? Well, maybe not us. These are all British shows. Maybe an American show has better taste. I don't know. But it's crazy to think that we live in a world where, like, I'm reading this article. I don't even think I'm going to talk about it. Because it's like, well, all the stuff that they took down was probably from way back when. And no, it's all fairly modern stuff. Like, it does not make any sense to me whatsoever. So, yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen it. I don't know what the context of these jokes are. But I definitely understand why Netflix removed them. And really, look, I'm all for not censoring stuff in the past. Like, hey, if it's like 80 years old, okay, you know what? You don't censor it, you educate. But if you're talking about like the last 20 years, you're still doing this, then yeah, maybe those people need a stern talking to. But I'm going to leave that there. What about all of you, though? Do you agree? Do you disagree about this? What do you think of Netflix taking down the shows, and what do you think of the shows actually being up in the first place? I would love to know. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. And finally, we're going to get to our last topic of the day. And this is a big one for me. This is me going, yay, finally! Like, I so want this to happen. I think this needs to happen. I think a lot of my viewers believe that this needs to happen. But Amazon is about to face the UA antitrust charges. The European Union has been doing a 2-year investigation on Amazon, and it seems like they believe that there's enough to charge them with antitrust. So, the source was the Wall Street Journal, and the paper, citing people familiar with the matter, reported that the charges stem from the tech stock's behavior toward third-party sellers in Europe. The EU is expected to allege Amazon used data from merchants on its platform to launch similar products under its private label brand. The European Commission's charges against one of the world's largest e-commerce companies could happen in the next 2 weeks, capping a 2-year investigation into Amazon's business practices. For weeks, Amazon has been facing allegations it's harming sellers on its platform after a Wall Street Journal expose revealed that some Amazon employees had used data from independent sellers to determine pricing on Amazon's own competing products, which features to copy and whether Amazon should enter a product category. Amazon has launched an internal investigation based on the Wall Street Journal's reporting. Well, there's no need to launch an internal investigation. You know you did it. What you're really doing is you're looking, it's like, okay, how much of this can we, plausibly deny? That's what you're doing. Anyway, the company had previously testified before Congress that it doesn't use data on individual merchants, but relies instead on aggregated data from third-party sellers, which I would, by the way, argue isn't that much different. I don't believe it's that much different. But Senator Josh Hawley, a Republican from Missouri and a long-term critic of big tech, in late April asked the U.S. Department of Justice to launch a criminal investigation into Amazon over its treatment of third-party sellers. Hawley, I don't know how to pronounce that, sorry, wants the DOJ to investigate it for antitrust violations and to impose criminal penalties on companies that exhibit monopolistic behaviors. Now, what they're saying is they have found proof that Amazon looks at the third-party sellers and their merchandise. And stuff that's selling, Amazon has their own brand of merchandise. So they see what's selling third-party, they make a note of it, they make their own version of that product, put it up, they sell it for cheaper, obviously, and then, of course, without their algorithm, they push that product as opposed to this third-party seller. That's what this is reporting. Now, I have never covered that. It would not surprise me if they do that. One thing that I know they do, because I have verified this and I have done research, is that even if they weren't making their own products, when Amazon has third-party sellers, they're getting data results, And if they see certain items are selling particularly well, one of the things you have to do when you sign up for Amazon is you typically have to give them information about your suppliers. For certain categories, you can't sell unless you provide them with who your suppliers are. I don't think that's right, by the way, but they do it. So the sellers give them the buyer information, where they get their supplies. And then Amazon watches them, and they see certain items are constantly selling very well. So what happens? They go to that third-party seller supplier. They offer to buy yay amount. They get a huge discount, and then they start pushing the product themselves, and they cut the third party out of the deal. So basically, the third party seller told Amazon what is selling and how much it's selling for, so Amazon knows what to buy, where to buy it from, and they can sell it at a cheaper price. That, to me, is totally violating antitrust laws. And we know they do it. It's documented that they do it. So it would not surprise me, though, that this other thing happens. Just keep in mind, basic things like batteries, pens, staplers, whiteout, Amazon makes all of this. So if you go to, in fact, actually, no, I'm not going to go there because it displays our zip code. But do this at home. In fact, if you're doing this live, you can even do this on your laptop if you're watching it on the computer or something. Go to Amazon.com and type in batteries. Look to see what comes up first. It's the Amazon branded batteries. Duracell, Energizer, the stuff that you normally buy, that's pushed way down because Amazon wants you to buy their product first. And here's the thing. Take it a step further. What if you put one of your competitors' products? What if you put the Duracell batteries in your cart? In many cases, Amazon will say, hey, do you want the Amazon Basics batteries? You'll save this much money, which will encourage you to put that product into your cart and remove the Duracell batteries. Amazon does stuff like this all the time. And I'm glad that finally we're really looking at it and seeing the scope of the problem. This could be the first of many dominoes falling. If the EU actually sues Amazon and takes them to court, and some things are come to light that might push other countries to also push for antitrust concerns. France would probably be next because France hates Amazon. And at some point, we would end up taking Amazon to trial. So I think this is a very good thing. I'm personally excited to see where this goes. But what about you? Do you think Amazon has broke antitrust laws by doing what they are accused of doing? Do you think it's true? Do you think it's not true? Will you still buy from Amazon even knowing this? I'd love to know. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe. And as always, flame responsibly. All right, so those are our topics. I'm going to remove a couple of articles. I'll save them for tomorrow's episode. And normally this is the part of the video where we would be interacting with more people. But apparently there's only a few comments, one of them mine. Dougie says, fine, so that must be in reference to the audio. Steven says, hi. Hi, Steven. Dougie also says, I told you Uber does not have money to buy GrubHub. Well, we knew they weren't offering money for GrubHub. They were offering a stock exchange. And GrubHub wasn't completely happy with the stock exchange, nor were they impressed with Uber's attitude towards the antitrust concerns, so that did them in. And Marco says, what do you think about Uber Eats charging no money for black business? I actually have made a video about that. And but my opinion of that is it's a noble gesture. But when they're talking about and it's not no money, they're just not charging a delivery fee. And the delivery fee is peanuts compared to the other fees they charge. There's a processing fee, there's a partnership fee, there's a platform fee. They're still charging those businesses that money. So the ironic thing is, even though they are not charging a black-owned business that $1 or $2 that they would normally charge, they're charging enough fees where it's still doing, legitimate damage to the business to buy from Uber Eats. So yeah, I personally, I think if you want to support a local black business, do takeout. Don't do Uber Eats. And that's pretty much all the questions, so I guess that is where we will end the video. So I'm starting to notice that if I start the video at around 12:30, because we've been switching back and forth to the times, there's not a lot of people who show up. But if I start at around 1 or 2, there's a lot more people. So I think in the future we will be premiering a little bit later in the day. But anyway, that's where we're going to end today's episode. Thank you for spending time with me. We are going, if you wanted to rewatch any of these, well, most of these, I'm not going to make a video out of the Apple one, but they will be in their own individual segments on this channel and the Apptrepreneur vlogs. So, you know the drill. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.